a lot of money. But before we do that, Michael, I want to talk about what's happening in our playoff picture right now, because it's starting to become a little more clear who the great teams are and who the teams are that are going to make it to the playoffs. I just want to say one thing before you go any further. Everything we're about to talk about right now is based on the fact on the system being exactly the way it was described preseason. The NFL has made it clear that if some games were to be canceled as COVID became a little worse or circumstances made that happen, that the playoff picture could expand. So let's talk about the AFC right now. And I want you to give me what you think the clearest picture is for the AFC as far as who's going to make the playoffs and who's not.
Well, clearly the Pittsburgh Steelers look like they're, most like them and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Clearly, with Ben Roethlisberger being Offensive Player of the Week.
Yes, he was offensive player of the week without practicing, mind you. So, if I'm Big Ben, like I think we talked about, I'm going to Mike Tomlin saying, dude, I don't need to practice.
Thank you.
I'm good. So
yes.
Yeah, there it is.
A round of applause for Big
Ben. All right,
Ben.
enough about the Steelers. Yeah, they're fine. The Kansas City Chiefs are still the best team in the league. I still like them to win the game.
Whoa. What are you talking about?
Come on.
What are you talking about? Why would you say the Kansas City Chiefs are still the best team in the league?
Because they have the best player in the league and probably the second best coach in the league. And just the way that they're able to scheme that offense and hang with just about any, they're never out of the game. Opposite to the Ravens, really. And I wish the Ravens were more explosive on offense like they were last year. But the Ravens really don't have the ability to put up 24 points in a quarter like Patrick and the Chiefs do. So
and the Steelers do.
I mean, the Steelers, though, the Steelers they're not quite as high powered as the Chiefs, but that plethora of receivers that Big Ben has certainly allows him.
Let's just really quick, because I just had a feeling you were going to do this, so I actually prepared something. I got some stats ready before the game started.
Okay.
Before the show started, because I knew you were going to say something about the Steelers and the Chiefs. I just want to do this really quick. Steelers record 8-9-0. Chiefs record 8-1. Steelers opponents combined record 33-47-2. It's not a great lineup of people they played so far.
Okay.
33-47-2. Chiefs opponent records are 33-50. So pretty much even.
Yeah.
Steelers point differential throughout all the games, 100 points. Chiefs point differential between all the games, 103 points. So when we continue to say, and I'm among them who was like, wow, the Chiefs are amazing. I think they're a little bit better than the Steelers. There is no metric that actually shows us that figure. When you look at who they played, how they've played them, there's no metric as far as that goes that shows us. A lot of what you're saying is your opinion, which I totally appreciate and disagree with. So let's go back to our playoff picture here, and let's talk about the AFC again. So we're going to line up the way it looks right now. And this would be bad news for you. The Chiefs would play the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills would play the Dolphins, and the Colts would play the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, by the way, on the bubble, the Titans, the Browns, the Patriots, which is super surprising to me, seeing the Titans out of the playoff picture.
I know. And well, if this was a normal year in the NFL, then even the Ravens would right now would not be in the playoffs. If the season were to end today, they'd be out of the picture. So maybe, some of these fringe teams that kind of deserve to be in the playoffs. I mean, the Titans are 6-3 and they look good. So, the Browns, I don't know if they really deserve to be in the hunt here. I mean, obviously they are, and their record speaks for itself, but, I would say that the Browns and the Patriots, I don't really see them coming out of this. I do like the Titans, and if I had to throw that back up on the screen,
there you go.
I still think the Titans could out edge the Colts for first in the division of the AFC South, and the Raiders look good. They're going to have to come in with a wild card spot because there's no way that they're catching Kansas City in the West. But so I think it's really going to come down to Raiders, Colts, Ravens, and Titans. Obviously,
let me just say something really quick. And then this is for both divisions, AFC and NFC, or for both conferences. I would say that this year, because of the lack of parity that we've seen in years past, there's a true lack of parity. There are really good teams and there are really bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
And we're actually going to talk about that a little bit later on because we have some odds between the best team in the league and the worst team in the league as far as, well, you'll see. It's a pretty good little thing graphic we have coming up later. But if you look at the lack of parity in what we're seeing right now, there's a very good chance that a team could be 10-6, 11-5, and not make the playoffs, which would be something that hasn't happened for years.
Mm-hmm.
For years. At least in the AFC. The NFC's got some weaker divisions. There are some opportunities there that could prevent at least one or two teams maybe from getting out. But I see that happening in the AFC. I see the Titans possibly finishing with an 11-5 record and not making the playoffs, or the Ravens being 10-6 and not making the playoffs, or even the Raiders having a little stumble here and being 10-6 and not being able to make the playoffs, or the Colts. One of those teams is going to be a really quote unquote good team and not make the playoffs. But that's the AFC. Let's move on over and let's talk about the NFC, where I think things are actually a little more interesting over there, because there are some teams that are to me really dangerous teams if you look at it. So let me lay it out for you. Seahawks play the Saints, Rams play the Cardinals, Buccaneers play the Eagles, and someone gets to play the Packers. And then, in the hunt, Bears, Vikings, Lions, 49ers. Are any of those teams that are in the hunt, actually, do you think they have a chance?
Absolutely. I mean, the Bears, Vikings, and Lions, they are all in the NFC North. So they're all, fighting for the same division. I don't think any one of those three catch the Packers, who are clearly going to win that division, probably be the number one seed in the NFC. But, any one of those three could come in and take a wild card spot. And like you mentioned, in the AFC, how there's most likely going to be a winning team, a team with maybe 10 wins, whether that's the Ravens, the Titans, the Browns, that don't make the playoffs. We're going to have a team in the NFC that could finish with 6 wins, or even, the Eagles that have 3 wins right now, and they're leading their division. So that brings up a question that has been circulating in the NBA for a long time, which is, should division leaders be rewarded with a playoff spot, or should it go to the top teams in the conference? And I have to say that it's got to go conference. Divisions are what they are. They do create rivalries between cities and a familiarity with the teams. But the real, it is a shame when winning teams get gypped from playoff contention, and a team like the Eagles or the Cowboys are going to win 6 games this year and not only make the playoffs, but have home field advantage. I mean, come on. That's just ridiculous.
Well, look, the thing that people don't understand is the reason that there are, AFC North, AFC South, the reason those divisions all are there are for the storylines. And that's really all it is. The storylines of making sure that the Giants and the Eagles always hate each other, and that the Steelers and the Ravens always despise each other and can't wait to play each other. You want those rivalries to happen. You truly, truly need those to make football exciting, because as great of a game it is, there's always an underlying story or two that very well could be happening that keeps the game a lot more exciting, even the bad games. Even the other day, watching the Giants and Philadelphia play against each other, there was some interest in that game for me, because I realized those teams, while they're terrible, they don't really care for each other. So, you want to watch that game and see if there's going to be any big hits, if there's going to be any big plays. Really quick, I don't want to put you on the spot. I know it's early to make any prediction from this point forward, and it's going to be almost impossible to be right, but I'm going to hold you to everything that you say from this point forward. And I'm going to throw the bracket back up there, and I'm going to say, tell me what happens in the NFC.
In the NFC, I see it playing out pretty much just like this. I don't think the Bears, the Vikings, or the Lions, end up with that last wild card spot. I mean, the Bears still have to play the Packers twice, and the Vikings and Lions. So, and any of those interdivisional matchups, can go either way. So, I really do. I like the Seahawks. If the season were to end right here, I like the Seahawks to beat the Saints. I know that Russell has been, questionable lately, and their defense is certainly suspect.
Oh,
but
really?
we don't know what's happening with Drew Brees. We don't know what he's going to look like when he comes back. And
I just saw a report where he said, "Don't worry, I'll be fine." I don't know if that's a medical term, but it certainly sounded like he was going to be okay. He said, "Don't worry, I'll be fine." So I've said that before, and usually afterwards I'm okay.
Yeah, have you ever had 4 broken ribs and a collapsed lung though, and then went out and got hit by a 300-pound dude?
I have, unfortunately, I actually have had broken ribs before. I've never had a collapsed lung. I have no idea what that feels like.
Yeah.
I'm certain that it's not good. I'm certain that it takes some time to come back from. And you're right. It's not even about that. It's about he has to throw. So, have hurt ribs and try to throw. I never had to do that.
Yeah.
Have a collapsed lung and try to run. I've never had to do that. I don't know what the recovery time for that is. Let's assume that he's back to full power by the time the playoffs happen. You're still taking the Seahawks, yes?
I would take the Seahawks over the Saints right there. Yes, I would take the Cardinals over the Rams. Love Kyler Murray. I love that team. And then I got to go with the Bucks over the Eagles, obviously. But you know who I really like coming out of the conference? Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. I think Aaron Rodgers.
Hang on. Let me lay this out according to what you just said now. So if what you just said happened the way you said it was going to happen, then the Packers would play the Rams. What do you think would happen there?
I think I think that Sean McVay would do his best.
I'm sorry. I take it back. The Packers would play the Seahawks.
That's right.
Packers would play the Seahawks. I stand corrected. Sorry.
I think Aaron Rodgers, along with Kyler Murray, are probably the only 2 quarterbacks in the NFC that can keep up with the firepower of the Seahawks offense. So I see that being a shootout either way. But I just like Green Bay's experience and Aaron Rodgers' drive and his fire to prove all the haters and the critics wrong. Everyone who wasn't talking about him at the beginning of the year, everyone was talking Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that. We've forgotten about Aaron Rodgers. The Packers draft a QB in the first round to, I guess, light a fire under his ass, and it seems to have worked. He's in the MVP conversation. He's leading that team, and Aaron Rodgers, there's no way, in my opinion, that he doesn't get at least one more Super Bowl ring before he's done his Hall of Fame career, and I can easily see it happening this year.
All right, and then we go to Buccaneers. This is according to your predictions. Yep. Buccaneers against the Cardinals. Quickly.
I got to go with the Buccaneers. That defense is too good. Tom Brady's got too much experience in the playoffs.
All right, Buccaneers, Packers for the Super Bowl. Who's going to the Super Bowl in the NFC?
I already told you the Packers. It's Aaron Rodgers' year, baby. It's not Tom Brady's year.
Aaron Rodgers all the way. And Tom Brady sticks around for one more year, or he retires?
He's got to stick around with that offense and that team that they put together around him. He said he wants to play till he's 45. I believe he's 42. That gives him 3 more years. I don't know if he makes it to 45, but he'll be back.
Itself.
He'll be back.
All right, I'll do the AFC.
Okay,
just because I think you're gonna like my picks. Let me start with the Colts versus the Raiders. Raiders come in and upset the Colts. Dolphins versus the Bills. Dolphins upset the Bills. People are losing their minds. It's going to be a total upset weekend. First round of the playoffs. Ravens play the Chiefs. Ravens get stomped out. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's like 40-7. Lamar's on the sideline. He's crying. He's got a couple tears in his eyes. He's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this happened to me. Oh my God!" And everyone's like, "Oh, don't worry, Lamar. You're going to be all right. You have the heart of a lion." Anyway,
come on.
Hang on. I'm in the middle of something. Then we go to round 2. Round 2 looks like it's going to be it would be the Raiders. I'm sorry, it'd be the Dolphins against the Steelers and the Raiders against the Chiefs. This will be the 3rd time the Chiefs and the Raiders play each other. What a storyline. We've already got something we're going to cover later on. There's some controversy. The Raiders so far are the only team so far that's been able to beat the Chiefs. They're playing them again in the playoffs. It's smack, bang, bang, bang. Andy Reid is just pissed off. Someone took his popcorn. He's got no hamburgers. The guy's super angry. He goes on like a keto diet the week before the game. He comes out, smash. They beat him by 27 points. Chiefs are on fire. No one can stop the Chiefs. Pittsburgh goes into Miami. It's a much tougher game than people think it's going to be because I believe the Miami Dolphins have got a top 5 defense, a top 5 coaching staff, and a young quarterback who's kind of scary. And I don't know, there's a statistic that somebody was telling me earlier that Tua is the only rookie quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger to win his first 4 games. Did you know that?
I did. In fact, it was me who told you that, and you're getting a little ahead of yourself because that was the topic we were going to talk about later. But Tua hasn't quite done that yet. If he wins this week, he will become the first quarterback to win his first 4 stars.
You just made my point for me. He's not done it yet. Plays against Pittsburgh, smash bang. Pittsburgh breaks him in half. Doesn't kill their spirit because the Dolphins are on the rise. Don't let anybody fool you. That is no longer Bill Belichick's division. The Dolphins are on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh versus Kansas City. Everybody wants to see it. Everybody's like, oh my God, Kansas City blew out the Raiders, but Pittsburgh barely got by the Dolphins in typical Pittsburgh's fashion. What's going to happen? Did I mention that Ben Roethlisberger was the AFC Player of the Week this week? So. I should have mentioned it at least once or twice. Pittsburgh versus Kansas City. Pittsburgh surprises everyone, shocks the world, and takes out Kansas City and goes back to like their 17th Super Bowl, playing against Aaron Rodgers, apparently, because that's who you've picked, which is a rematch of a Super Bowl from a few years ago. Vengeance will be served. Pittsburgh goes undefeated, maybe.
Wow.
I don't know.